Music City Horror.
Hello and welcome to Music City Horror. This is episode 13. I am your host Eli. We have KB, Kayla, and Lena in the house. And do you want to say hey? Or?
What's up?
Sorry.
I do not want to say hi.
I thought you hadn't finished. No, I'm sorry. I thought you hadn't finished your sentence.
That's okay. Were you ready?
So, what's up, nerds?
No.
Yeah.
We just didn't want to say hi to anyone. That's why.
Yeah.
Right. Just,
Yeah,
whatever.
fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I have better things to do.
So we're this is kind of behind the scenes, but we're debuting our new we're on Anchor now, so you can check us out on anchor.fm, and there's also an app which KB said you probably won't download, but there's an app for it, and it's got hundreds of podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So this is our first episode recording with that, so it's new. So hopefully we have no hiccups.
Listen,
yeah,
like Kayla said, I don't want to delete a game to download an app.
Right. I've almost collected all of the cats in Neko Atsume, and I cannot delete it right now. Like, it's super important that I get all the cats together.
My Sims just got married, so it's really important that I keep going.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
On the other token, though, I mean, if you manage your internal memory correctly, you could have other apps.
Oh, I have too many pictures of my dogs and Finn Balor on my phone that I like too much to take off.
Bro, Google Photos, man.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it.
I have 30 gigs on my phone still. Just
that means more
Humble
pictures of Finn Balor.
Oh, jeez.
And or dogs.
Or mostly dogs.
Mostly dogs.
Mostly dogs. Sorry, Finn. I still like my dogs more than you.
Well, and Finn is kind of canon because he's the demon related, so
Ooh,
kind of fits.
Maybe one day he'll know us.
I mean, you're meeting him in like 5 weeks. Why don't you give him a sticker?
Oh my God, I cannot.
Invite him on the podcast.
You can come with me and you can give him a sticker because I'm going to be too busy crying.
Oh, God, here we go. That's your task, though. You have to give. Are you still seeing him and Seth, or just him?
Yeah, I'm seeing both.
Okay.
In one day.
I expect them both to have a sticker.
Okay. If I can actually form words, I'll really try. That's probably not going to happen. You saw how I reacted to Cody Rhodes. Like, I was literally about to have, like, some form of a seizure.
Yeah. Well, we're 3 minutes into the show, and we're already completely off track. So.
Yep. Well,
we never were on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, welcome to the show. Well, this is episode 13. I think we're going to start with new stuff like we usually do. So KB starts us off with that.
Hello, friends. I don't have a lot for you this week. I think Eli's probably going to end up having more than me like he usually does. So I've got a couple of big ones to talk about. The first is Annihilation, which is actually, I'm going to shoot that one over to Kayla because she has seen it. But just so you guys know, even though it got released in the theaters recently, it is going to Netflix on March 12th. I feel like that might be a tentative date since it was so hard to find online. I think three of us may have searched for it.
Right. It was very vague, just sometime in March. But keep an eye out for it. And it's one of those movies that I really wanted to go support in the theaters. It was one of my most anticipated of the year, and I was just so excited to see it. I went opening weekend to see it. I loved it. It's not the most perfect movie ever, but if you love super weird, very cerebral kind of movies that aren't about like good versus evil or easy like answers to things, and you like flowers a lot, there are a lot of flowers in this, go see it in the theater. It's really the music and the on the big screen, but I think it'll also do well on Netflix too. So if you don't get a chance to see it in theaters, definitely check it out. on your couch, because it's worth watching.
That's my plan. I will be
Yeah.
checking it out on my couch while I watch my pug crawl under my dresser, which is not from my couch. But I looked over and he just crawled underneath the dresser. So listen, guys, we are living in real time. This is things that are happening.
This is real life.
A little
This is
peek
real
into
life.
my life. I have to try and get my pug to go downstairs. So then I'm glad that Kayla has seen that movie. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have time to go see it in theaters as much as I would absolutely be so happy to, because we got Movie Pass and it's so worth it if you don't already have it. You can basically go see a movie a day for $10 a month, which is really cool. So
Right.
if
They
you
do it
have
before
that
they
much
go-
time, if
Right.
you
So
have
they
that
do it
much
before they
time on
go
your hands.
bankrupt, and we.
Yeah.
I
There's
know.
Yeah,
no
and if you
way.
if you pay
There's
for the
no
year
way.
in advance, it's like $8 a month. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know how they're floating.
I don't know. Maybe it's like one of those underground like secrets that's actually sponsored by the movie companies, and it's just meant to
Yeah.
raise concession sales.
Yeah, I
True.
almost signed up for it like a year and a half, like 2 years ago, because when it first came out, it was $30 a month,
Yeah.
and so I was like, well, if you at least go to like 2 a month, that's still you're still getting your money's worth. But
Right.
then dropping it down to 10 was just like the bottom.
Crazy.
It's
Well,
just-
we got it several
Yeah.
weeks ago, and let me tell you, going to see 2 movies in a month is not as easy as you think. I don't
I believe
think that
that.
we have actually gone to 2 movies in a month.
Mhm.
Mainly,
And that's- I
well,
think
we
that's
did
what
just
they're
get
paying-
it. We got it like around Christmas, so it was
Mhm.
like Christmas hit, and then we had no time. And then
Mm.
now we've been going to see movies, but there hasn't been a lot playing that we want to see. So
Mhm.
right. I
Right.
mean, it just, went through a weird spell for a second. So we did go see Black Panther. And then it's just, we just don't have time. Or the one night that I actually, we can have time to go out and do things is one of my only nights to get anything done. Like to just relax and like, I'd just rather chill and watch Netflix right now. Anyways, another tangent. Let us move on.
We're just all over the place tonight.
We really, I feel like,
That's okay.
hey guys, it's just
That's us.
cash. It's casual.
That's right.
It's casual.
That's how we roll.
Well, I mean, we've got some structure. It's cool. So the next movie that I want to talk about is Veronica, which just recently got released on Netflix, and they have been billing this one as like the scariest movie of the year, apparently. It is a Spanish subtitled movie, and I'm just gonna straight up read a little synopsis of it. It's just a story about a young girl named Veronica who has to basically, I guess, take care of her family by herself, and it involves a Ouija board, and they disturb a spirit. So I have not watched it yet. Hopefully one of us will be able to get it watched this week, and we'll be able to talk about it with you next time we record. But I'm excited. I think it looks really cool. I love movies about demons and ghosts, especially like bad ghosts. And I read this article that involved the title, "The Exorcism of Emily Rose." So I'm in.
Yeah, totally in. I love that movie.
I'm totally in. So people are talking about, really, really having like trouble watching it because it's so scary. But then again, most of the people on the internet are weenies.
We are not weenies. We got
No.
this. Yeah.
We are not. We are definitely not weenies.
Right. This can be like the Veronica Dare. Like who can make it through all like on
Ooh.
one sitting. Yeah.
I like that.
There's
Yeah.
no way. There's no
I
way
mean-
that movie is that brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the trailer did was creepy.
Was it spoopy?
Is spooky.
So
Yeah.
I
guess
I did get halfway through it today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
okay.
watching on lunch. It's pretty creepy. I'll be honest.
a good lunch film.
Yeah, I'm sitting there eating my salad, and I'm just like, oh, look at that. So the crazy thing with it is, I'll probably finish it tonight after the show. But so far, okay. So we'll use we'll just go with The Exorcist. That's a prime example. So The Exorcist, Reagan's the one that gets possessed, and she's a kid, but her mom's there, and you have the I guess maids and the priest, and there's all these people there. Well, this one is like a 15-year-old girl, and then her siblings, and that's it. Like the mom is like pretty much out of the picture.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's no one there to like help them. So
That is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
So, the subtitles get a little like, because if you're not like, if you glance away for a second, you do miss stuff. But so far it's really good.
Cool. So it's done by the same guy that did the Recording REC film from 2007, which was a found footage film. I enjoyed that one. I haven't watched it in a really, really long time, but I'm such a sucker for found footage movies. Those are honestly some of my favorite. But this one had 3 sequels. I don't think I've seen anything past the second one. Have you guys seen it? Everybody got quiet.
I saw the original one.
Have
I've only seen the first Rec and then Quarantine, the remake, which I think was a pretty decent remake.
Yeah, Quarantine wasn't
I
terrible.
loved it.
Yeah.
Quarantine
It's
wasn't
pretty-
terrible.
it's pretty
So,
fun.
That was fun.
I think Veronica looks cool. I'm definitely going to have to be in a very I want to pay attention mood since it's got subtitles. So that's a one that's getting a lot of buzz. And the big one is the release of The Strangers Pray at Night, which comes out on March 9th. I believe that we're actually going to try and all get together to go see this one.
Yay!
Yes.
Give me your opinions. Let's talk about The Strangers. Dang, y'all are taking a second.
I know. I'm thinking about what I want to say about it. Because I really loved the first one, but it's been so long that
That's exactly
it's
what I
kind
was
of
about to say.
hard. Yeah, it's like, how do you get that hype back up to that
Exactly.
level? You know. So it's been such a long time. I almost wish they had done it a few years ago. So I feel like it's almost a whole new generation now, which is kind of cool too to think about.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like the same kind of premise.
Right.
But I did love the first one. I watch it every now and then because it's so quiet, and then when people knock on the door, it's so loud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It just makes you jump.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have to maybe try and give it a rewatch soon,
Yeah, just
especially
like-
before I try and go to see it in the theater. Just because if they do any, and I hope that they don't for their own sake, because that would be a pretty stupid decision. I would hope that they wouldn't put any throwbacks to the first movie in this movie.
Yeah, it's like, let's not do
Yeah.
that. Just leave.
I
Just
know.
have fun. Just make something new and leave it alone. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's
Right.
been too long for anyone to be able to be like, oh, I remember this random thing from this movie that came out
Right.
like 10 years ago. I don't think it was 10 years, but now I forget how long it was.
It might be.
It might be about 10
Let's do
years.
it. I was
Yeah.
about to say, I'm gonna. Who can
'Cause I was in
look it
college.
up first? Who
It's
can look
been
it up
over
first?
to-
2008. Yeah, exactly 10
Yeah.
years.
10 years. Wow.
So
That's a long
I
time.
mean, who, unless you're like this weird like rabid Strangers fan that watches it once a year, how are you going to remember anything from a movie that came out 10 years ago and did okay.
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't like this spectacular, lifetime memorable movie, but it wasn't bad. It was cool. It was scary as shit, and it was like super real. But I don't know. If they put any kind of like throwback to the original, nobody's gonna get it.
Well,
I remember,
the
like,
first one at
from-
least had some names too. Liv Tyler.
Right.
So
yeah.
And this one
And-
does not.
this one to me, without doing any research.
Well, it's got Christina Hendricks in it, but that's about it.
Oh right,
Mm.
yeah. I knew she was in some horror movie coming up, and I didn't think it was that one. But
Yeah.
it almost sounds like the Cloverfield movies, where it was like something else, and they're like, why don't we just tweak it, and now it's a Stranger sequel. So at least
Yeah.
they have the name recognition.
Yeah.
Again, I could be way off base, but that's just what it feels like to me. But I mean, we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was all on my list. I'm sure Eli has more to add.
I mainly wanted to just touch on the high points from February, just in case people didn't know some of these had been released, because I've missed some of these too. I didn't catch all of these. On Shudder, the big one was Mayhem. Joe Lynch directed. What's Glenn's name? Stephen Wu.
Stephen Yun.
Yen.
Yun.
And then,
yeah.
Why am I blanking? Tamara Weaving. Thank you. I said
Yeah.
myself. That one was really good. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I liked that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Some other ones I've never heard of, but Honeymoon dropped on Shudder and Amazon Prime on the same day.
I love that movie. It's so
Yeah,
good.
One of the girls from Game of Thrones was in that one.
Yes, it's so
Ooh.
good.
Got really good reviews.
I need to see that.
It's awesome. And directed by a woman, which is great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Go girl.
Yeah, that's right.
They also had one come out called The Two Faces of January, which evidently was supposed to have been released in like 2014, and they finally just put it on Shudder. I think Emma Roberts is in that. That's the only name I know of from that one. They released one called Dead Shack, and I remember seeing stuff about it, but I don't know much about it. 'Cause I think it's a zombie movie. Netflix, the big one we saw this month was Ritual. That was really good.
Which I
they
did.
also-
We all watched that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was. Did we talk about that last episode?
I think
I
we
don't think
talked
we
about
did.
it.
I don't.
being
Yeah, I
out.
don't think so. I know
Yeah.
we Instagram storied our mini reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's touch on that real quick, since I like to go back and talk about stuff that we've mentioned. So, Ritual,
Yeah.
I liked it. I've come to the conclusion that I liked it, but it was one of those movies that I won't go out of my way to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
I agree with you.
Same. It was great. I watched it like a Saturday afternoon. I don't feel like it added much to anything different
Yeah.
or unique, but it was beautifully filmed. Like I felt like it was well done. It
I don't
just
know.
was
I
kinda okay.
think that
Yeah.
I think that it was pretty unique.
Mm,
I don't think. I mean, no one's used Swedish folklore before, like
Well-
weird folklore like that.
I've seen like weird folklore kind of stuff or like creepy backwoods people sort of thing. But I mean, it's different.
I'm
because
more
it
so
is
talking about the
Swedish.
folklore. It's like
Oh,
what-
yeah.
what are other movies that use stuff like that? But
there's
like,
this-
but like, actually, it's like actual folklore, not it being based on it. Other than Krampus.
Krampus. There's this really, I always think of this really terrible movie called The Shrine that I saw, where they have like a similar, like, these people are backpacking in this back area of like Germany or something, and they get stolen for some sort of weird religious ritual.
I don't think I
And
remember that one.
it's not good. Do not watch it. I just thought
I like the sound.
it's like the plot sounds really good, and then you actually watch it, and you're like, oh, this is just dumb teenagers
Oh my god.
doing the thing that dumb teenagers do, get killed by backwoods hillbillies, but just in
Yeah.
another country. So it's like, man,
Okay.
this is not the same. There was another one I thought of that was kind of similar, but I did like The Creature. I don't feel like that's a spoiler, but it was pretty cool.
I wanted to bring that up too, because he was pretty cool.
It was
different.
Oh yeah, and I did a little bit of research on the creatures afterwards, and they definitely don't look like that, but it was an interesting take. Like I said, I won't watch it again, but it wasn't awful, and I enjoyed myself while I watched it.
No, it made me want to go hike in Sweden because it just looked really pretty there.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It does.
It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't go off the trail ever, bunch of idiots.
Right.
It's like, we can take a shortcut. No, stop.
Eli, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed
He's
it.
so quiet.
I'm just letting you guys talk, man.
It is Women in Horror Month, so thank you for the space.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
We still have
one day
left.
a few more hours, right?
That's right. Yes.
I really liked The Creature. I liked kind of, I call it the nightmare, where he kept like being back in the convenience store, kept going back to that.
Yeah.
But it was like like there was grass and stuff, but that really kind of stood out as like a nightmare to me.
Oh yeah.
But I like that Netflix is dropping stuff like this just out of the blue, and it's quality. It was really well made. So I'm kind of like you. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I mean, it was pretty enjoyable for what it was.
It was like right in the middle for me. It wasn't spectacular and profound and my favorite horror movie of the year, but it was good. I definitely think that it deserves good credit.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
next.
Next, let's see. This one of them's a big one. The other one I don't know anything about. So, but they put the final season of Bates Motel up. So, if you didn't watch it, that was a really good series. They did. I was really skeptical of. I have a really love-hate relationship with remakes and reimaginings and that kind of stuff, because I'm more of a I have friends that write movies and scripts and stuff, and it's just like there's people out there that are dying to do original stuff, and you're going to rehash stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think they did it in a really good way, and I think the setting's awesome. Making it contemporary, it's just really good. I think it's one of the better horror-related shows probably ever, to be honest with you, TV shows ever. But anyway, so that whole series is now on Netflix. They also uploaded 2 seasons of something called the Frankenstein Chronicles.
What?
So, don't know anything.
Oh, is that the one with Sean Bean in it?
That is Mr. Dies and Everything. That's it.
Or I mean,
What?
or Scene Bean.
Yeah.
Scene being. I love that joke. every time.
More importantly known only as Boromir, not Ned Stark. Even though I love Ned Stark, he was Boromir first.
Oh, me.
Boom.
I just love him from National Treasure.
Oh, right. The OG. OG.
He's a
So,
fantastic man.
So that's 2 seasons, right off the bat.
Nice.
They also released Mute, which is Duncan Jones, David Bowie's son. That's his new movie. He did Moon, which I really loved. He also did Warcraft, which I did not watch at all. So, kind of iffy. But that one's more of a sci-fi kind of thing.
Is that the one with Alexander Skarsgård in it?
That is.
Bill's big brother.
Oh, Bill's big brother.
Actually prefer Bill.
I think
I definitely prefer Bill now.
I think that family is just cloned from something.
Right.
They're all beautiful.
They do
I
look
mean,
so
it's
much
just-
alike.
It's just
Yeah.
bad. But let's see. Over on Hulu, they didn't have a lot of stuff, but like Daybreakers from 2009, which I thought was kind of underrated. Also Manhunter from 1986, which was the first time we saw Hannibal Lecter. Honeymoon also is on Hulu, but then they released one the 27th, which was Tuesday. Called Alien Psychosis. I don't know anything about that. Came out last year. And then Amazon didn't really have anything. So yeah, but those are just kind of the big ones. The other one obviously was Veronica. We mentioned that already. So yeah, some of those were kind of big. I wanted to touch on those since with
So, you know what's really sad? We have went through this whole new releases thing, and I'm sorry, this is kind of a shitty thing to say. None of us mentioned Walking Dead. Didn't it just premiere?
Wow, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
No,
it
I
had
don't
the
either.
lowest
I
like
stopped.
mid-season.
I wish I did.
It was like the lowest mid-season ratings I think they've had since like season 1 or something.
Dude.
It's like wrap it up, y'all. Let's make this, like, push through. Just wrap it up. Where are we going? Yeah, what are we doing? Yeah.
The
What
next
are we doing?
season, the showrunner is going to be a female, so that's promising.
To be
But-
fair, I have mostly kept up. I'll go through these really long spurts where I won't watch it and I won't pay attention, which is right where I am right now. But now that a new season's out, I want to catch up. I want to find out what happens. It's just one of those shows that if you take like these long pauses, you just forget shit and you feel like you have to go and start all over. And then there's like 15 million seasons. So I don't know. I don't have cable, so I don't have a way to watch it. So I usually just don't watch it until they put it on Netflix.
Right. It got to the point where, we would struggle to find it and watch it somewhere, and then I wasn't committed enough because I was like, this just isn't good enough to like make me want to go through all this work to find it.
Right.
Because I don't have cable. It's like, it's
Right.
just not worth it right now. Yeah, I just stopped. So it is kind of sad that we didn't mention it, but also like maybe that's a sign. People who do The Walking Dead, like, make it better. Step it up.
I mean, it's really not even that it's bad. It's just, it's went on for so long.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, where are we going?
Kind of
Like,
boring.
how are we
now.
moving forward with this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for those people still watching, the mid-season premiered this past Sunday, so
Enjoy.
I will say this. The thing that really got me back into the series and actually watching it is Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
He is pretty amazing.
Put Jeffrey Dean Morgan in a show and I'm probably going to pay attention.
I can see that.
He's pretty awesome.
Yep. Well, I believe it's time to move on.
So we're done with that.
Is it fun facts time?
Ooh,
yeah.
fun
Fun
facts.
facts.
Yep. So for those that don't know, we started a new segment have we only done it once or have we done it twice?
Just once.
Just one
Yeah.
time,
Just one time, yeah.
unfortunately.
So, so we have a new segment called
Facts of the Week.
So this is Lena's baby, and take it away.
Yes. So I have a theme for tonight, guys. And the theme is extra special effects. What?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Love it. Love it.
So I've got a little bit for you guys, and I hope you find it interesting because I thought it was pretty cool. But first, I'm going to start with in David Cronenberg's Scanners, 1981, that came out. The exploding head effect was achieved with a latex model that was filled with dog food and rabbit livers, which was then blown apart with a shotgun.
I
I
actually
thought that was
did.
awesome.
Yeah, I did know that one. I actually wore my scanner shirt earlier this week.
Oh, I love it.
They evidently they were trying, they tried a heater, and they tried all this other stuff, and it wasn't really. So they're like, just freaking blow it up with a shotgun, and then it worked.
I love it. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Next, in the Swedish vampire film Let the Right One In, which I'm sure we've all seen, sound effects were achieved as follows. They bit into sausages to sound like they're biting into skin.
Ew.
I
could totally see it. I could totally hear it though. Yeah.
Yes. They drank yogurt to sound like drinking blood. And this one grossed me out the most, even though it sounds like the most tame, but they rubbed the skin of 2 grapes together to sound like children, like their eyes blinking. Ew.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's kind of gross. Next, this one kind of had my mind blown because I had no idea, but I could see this. All the snow that appeared in The Shining was actually salt. So,
What?
man-made snow.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
It's a lot of salt.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of saltiness. Next, chocolate syrup was used for blood in Night of the Living Dead and Psycho, which both black and whites. So I could definitely see that, but delicious.
Yeah, that was the main reason George Romero shot in black and white, because
nice.
he didn't really want to worry about all that crap. So.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Delicious blood. And lastly, which I think I knew this, but I think it's still pretty cool. When the alien bursts out of John Hurt's chest in Alien, the actors' reactions were real because Ridley Scott did not warn them about it, and so the reactions were true, very true. Which that's awesome.
So I knew most of those this week. So that was good. The alien one was pretty crazy because in the script it just says the monster appears.
I love that.
And so they're just sitting there at the table and drinking and eating and stuff, and yeah, and I think one of the girls passed out, and yeah, it's pretty wild.
I could totally see that.
So
cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love. I hate CG. Really, 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 really don't like it, and I love all the old, special effects and practical stuff, and I was pretty bummed when they did The Thing, because it started out, or The Thing remake, I should say. They started out all practical stuff, and then they threw CG on top of it, and it just looks like garbage.
Ugh.
So,
my mom and I were talking about that movie today randomly. I haven't seen it forever, so I might need to revisit, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I do love the original thing. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a top 10 for sure. Well, so right now we're going to we've thrown out our number before, and LJ from Dead Serial left us a voicemail, so I finally figured out how to download it. So we're gonna put that in the show real quick. So let that take away.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's LJ from the Dead Serial podcast. Just wanted to say keep doing what you're doing. Appreciate the shout out on the earlier episode, and hope all is well. Love tuning in. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. So thanks for leaving that voice for us. Again, his podcast is called Dead Serial. You can find it on iTunes, and I think he's on Stitcher. And but yeah, if you just get on Instagram, he's Dead Serial, and it's like cereal, like the killer, not the cereal you eat. So, cool. So, I guess, are we ready for the topic?
Yes.
Oh, show.
Cool. Well, we were getting so sidetracked, I didn't know if we were already there, but I think we are. So.
We are ready.
That was mostly my fault.
That's okay. Cool. All right. Well, this week what is the subject? Yeah, the subject of the show is trash horror. We're going to talk about some of our favorite movies in this genre, and I guess we would call it a subgenre. Kind of give a definition of what it is. Kind of is its own thing, but then it kind of blurs into other, territories and stuff like that. So, who wants to try to define it? Do we decide on?
Is it more of an opinion, or should we just call them like B and C movies?
I feel like it's pretty flexible, and I feel like that encompasses it pretty well. I just think like gory, maybe not the best quality necessarily. Maybe stuff that wasn't appreciated when it came out, but might be more so now, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one-liners.
I think it's,
Oh yeah.
I think it's like a lot of things. Like, I think it can be a B movie, but I don't think it has to be a B movie.
Agreed.
I've seen, for example, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre on one of the lists, and I saw Night of the Living Dead, and so, I think it's, whatever you want to classify it as, but it's definitely, most of them have that whole, it's very violent, very gory. Some of it is very bad acting. Some of it's very low budget. So a lot of B movies definitely are in that category, but I think some, don't necessarily have to be. So
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like if you stick with the word trash, you're probably fine. If you're like, is this movie trash horror?
Yeah.
And you think, is this trash? And you're like,
Is this
yes.
trash
Okay.
horror? Exactly.
Yep.
cool. So who wants to start and give us one of their favorites?
I always go first, so I'm being quiet. But I
Good
can go
girl.
first if you want me to.
Do it.
Okay. My number one favorite is Reanimator. I love Reanimator so much. It's has everyone seen
Good choice.
Reanimator?
I
Yes.
have actually not
Ooh.
seen it.
Man.
It's so fun. It's a good one. It's about a medical student who's like mad scientist person, and he's trying to figure out a serum to reanimate dead people, and he tries it on his roommate, who's like kind of a normal guy. He tries it on his roommate's cat, and then it escalates from there, where he's raising bodies from the dead, and it gets really gory and like gross, but his one-liners, he's amazing. He's so much fun. He's just
Awesome.
like camping it up the whole time. It's great. It's just a lot of fun, and it's not serious at all, and it's based on very loosely based on an H.P. Lovecraft story, so it's got that kind of weird vibe to it, and it's just a blast. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good one.
Good choice.
Yeah, it's fun.
And KB, you need to rectify that. You need to watch that as soon.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would probably enjoy. I just,
Yeah.
for some reason, never got around to seeing it.
It's on Netflix, I think. So yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Everybody
It is,
check it
yeah.
out.
Perfect.
Cool. Who's next?
I mean, I've got a couple on my
Let's do it.
list.
Let's do it.
So, So my first one, and are we doing this ranked or like our personal favorite, or are we just talking about them in general?
I'd say yes.
Thank you for answering that question. You're really helpful. What a great leader.
Yes.
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 Fine. Okay,
Yes.
then my number
Yes,
one is
yeah.
also my favorite. Freddy versus Jason.
Oh,
Oh,
And-
love it.
That's so trashy. I love it.
It is the worst movie. It is so silly, but and the effects are atrocious. Like don't expect anything good out of this movie other than jokes and like campy stuff. So, I mean, it's just having two horror villains who completely could never ever be in the same universe. Just finding a way, smashing the puzzle pieces to fit, and making a movie about it.
Yeah, it was like
It's so fucking silly.
It's just ridiculous.
studios were like, okay, you wanted it, here it is. I mean, it was,
Right.
I mean,
Like
I
you're
love
gonna
their fight
you're gonna
scenes.
enjoy what you get.
Yeah.
It's like, are we? I don't. Did we ask
Well,
for this? I don't know.
I love
I mean, in
when
their defense, they did spend a lot of money on it. It had a pretty sizable budget, and it made a lot of
Oh
money.
damn!
too.
Now I want to see what it was. All right,
Yeah.
I'll have that for you in a second.
But
like when
um,
Freddy gets pulled into the real world and has to fight Jason, and the butt rock's playing in the background.
The butt rock.
I think it's awesome. I love it. He gets dragged through the window panes.
Mhm.
Sorry, Freddy. It's like
I love
Jason's gonna beat your ass.
But you're so right. You're so right. It was so lit. It was
Yes.
lit
I
as
did. I
hell.
love Kelly Rowland in it too. I mean,
Yeah.
she did
She
great.
gets her
great.
nose torn off.
Oh,
It's so funny.
so good.
Like she wants a nose job, so in
Oh.
her nightmare she gets her nose torn off.
Oh my god, that's
It's
so dumb.
It's the worst.
So
I forgot
That,
about
that movie is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year.
oh my gosh.
So I
Don't
got
touch that, Eli.
the box office results. The budget was 30 million,
Oh
and
my.
what they
Oh.
got in the box office was 114.9 million.
That's
Yeah.
so stupid. Oh my
It's
god.
it's the highest grossing out of both of those franchises.
Wow.
Gosh.
That's just
Wow.
wow.
It's so bad.
I'm like disappointed in humanity right now a little bit, but it's also really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it came out in 2003.
Right.
Well, and it's pretty weird because 2003 doesn't seem like that long ago, but
But it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
like Kelly Rowland calls Freddie a faggot.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
that would never fly.
Really?
today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't
Like,
remember
right
that.
before-
He's in a Christmas sweater wearing.
yeah. Right before, it's pretty much like one of the last two lines she says.
I
Holy
forgot
shit.
about that.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fucked
like,
up.
No one
you
would
think
ever
that,
say that now, right?
No.
Yeah, you think 1994 cool, 1987 cool. 2003 though, that was pretty late up, recent years. So it's kind of controversial. But
Wow.
anyways, I appreciate that for what it is. I think I remember seeing that at the theaters. So
Yeah, that's my top choice. You want me to do another one, or somebody else want to jump in?
we can go to Lena if you want to.
Sure.
Round the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you guys, this is like my favorite genre. So I have stuff I've written down. So
Awesome.
I'm gonna try and narrow it down now because I have something playing in the background right now, and I'm gonna go with it because it's giving me inspiration right now. And that's Return of the Living Dead
Nice.
from the year I was born.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna let everyone dig that year up, so I don't tell you. All, I recently got the Blu-ray. I've just become obsessed with it recently, and Linnea Quigley is in it.
Yay!
The
Our
queen,
girl,
right?
our queen plays trash, which is fitting for our topic, trash horror.
Love it.
Does her naked graveyard dance, and she looks awesome, by the way. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't see this movie before we talked to her, because I would be so starstruck. Because now I'm just like, I can't believe that we talked to her.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's awesome. So it begins in a medical supply house, and they accidentally release a gas that causes the dead to rise again. And it's hilarious. There's so many funny lines to it. Lots of zombies, obviously. Lots of chopping up of zombies, and a certain zombie called Tarman,
Who's incredible.
which
That
is awesome.
I mean, it freaked me out as a kid because I couldn't figure out how they did it. You know,
He's so awesome. And I feel like this might be the first movie where they craved brains, or they said brains. I'm not 100% on that.
Oh, like the zombies, like brains.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
Instead of just like human flesh.
Right.
Brains.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a fun movie. I love it. So that's my top choice.
it's a good one.
Horror movies and the word fun don't always go hand in hand.
Right.
Because I equate horror movies slightly to stress. Depending on
Right.
the level.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna start on me, I'm gonna be real fucked up. I'm gonna be real skittish, because that's just how I am. But if, like, Cabin in the Woods, scary, but it made me laugh.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
They're
that's
just
a
so
fun
few
one.
and far between, and that's sad.
Well, I do want to say that earlier today I watched Night of the Demons, which I've never seen, which also has Lynette.
So
in it.
good, so
It's
good.
Wonderful.
Oh.
And it did scare me. Like, y'all, I keep looking behind my shoulder, like the demon's gonna be right behind me.
Dude, that movie scared the shit out of me too. It was fantastic.
Freaky, yes.
It
I
was.
love it.
It's one of my favorites. Me and a couple of girlfriends from back home got together and watched it for a scary movie night in October, and I'd never seen it, and I walked out and I was so excited because that was like became one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just
de-
that
de-
perfect mix of it being really actually scary and really, really funny at the same time, and just bizarre.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, I was
it was like
watching
the original Evil Dead. Like, it had humor in it, and they
Right.
did it pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah, I was watching it last night. I think some of y'all saw it on Twitter, and
Yeah.
it was like, so like pretty early on. There's like the two girls in the gas station, and they're like robbing it or whatever, and all you see is like you just see the girl bent over, and it's just like a shot of like her skirt raised up with her panties. I was
right.
like, I don't remember this, and then it's Linnea Quigley.
Oh my
I
god,
know.
how funny!
I was like, that has to be her.
Yeah.
I was waiting on her.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, that was going to be one I mentioned, just because, but also I just watched it last night. I mean, it's so good. It's the 30th anniversary of that movie.
nice.
So, I mean, I think for me,
Spit it out.
I would say probably Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2. I think Evil Dead 2 kind of fits the trash horror title better, because it's more funny and goofy, but it's also super bloody and super gory. So, you know, obviously we had 3 of those movies. We had the new one from 5 years ago. We have the new TV show. We've got comics. You know, I think that one obviously was an important one and had a really big impact, you know, still going on today. So, so I think that one, you know, there was a list somebody put out about like 20 great trash horror movies, and there's a lot on that list that I like, but I think that's the one that, you know, I think if we didn't have that one, a lot of these ones on the list wouldn't have been made, and you know, I just don't know where we would be right now if those movies hadn't came out. So
It's like they learned their lesson before they got good.
yeah, something like that.
But I definitely think the second Evil Dead, yes. The first Evil Dead, it's too much of a classic to really like say. But the newer one, no, it's not trash at all. There's next to no humor in it.
Yeah,
And I
that's
feel
true.
like
Right.
most of the trash horror movies, like, there's some bad ones in there, but a lot of them are actually kind of funny, but it goes with stuff that you wouldn't otherwise mix it with.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree. I agree with the Evil Dead thing.
Cool. Who wants to do their second one?
Oh my gosh. So I'll probably say something that other people are thinking, but Troll 2 is
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
epic.
Oh yeah.
If you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
haven't seen it, it's the mastery of trash horror. It's just the worst movie that's ever been made ever. It just is, and it's hilarious every second.
And it had a documentary about it because it was the worst movie ever made.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's just so bad. But
It's like
so
The
much fun.
Room. It's like The Room, or the disaster artist for The Room. Like they have to make a movie about it because it's so bad.
Right.
A movie about a movie because
Right.
the movie is the worst.
And Troll 2 like feels like it's just a stupid kids movie. Like it's not particularly scary unless you were like 6. But like the humor's too adult. It's very weird. It's just a super strange. It was one of those movies like, why did they make this movie? This is the worst. This is such a bad idea. But you have to, it's fun to watch with like a group of people, have a couple of drinks, and watch Troll 2. It's perfect.
I feel like we need to. Can we please do that sometime
I
soon?
know,
Yes.
I haven't seen it, so sounds like a plan.
Oh gosh, it's much more fun to watch it with a group of people. If you watch it alone, it's not as fun. But if everyone's just laughing together, it's great.
Nice.
That needs to be on the agenda.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
My next one was Dead Alive, which is kind of
Yeah.
in the vein of the Evil Dead, the really kind of like really unsettlingly fake body horror, but it was all really just kind of like goopy and gross. Which to me, like, that's one thing that will make me squirm is if like someone's like melting or something. I'm just like,
Gross.
I feel weird all over. Or anything like having my gore thing is surface wounds. So the scene at the end of the newest Evil Dead where she's behind the cabinet and it stabs through the wall and just cuts the top of her knee, that makes me sick.
Gross.
So this stuff, I mean, this movie is, and funnily enough, a lot of people don't know Dead Alive was actually directed by Peter Jackson.
I love that.
Awesome.
AKA,
You gotta start
if you
somewhere,
don't,
kids.
if
Yeah.
you don't know who Peter Jackson is, turn this off and go watch Lord of the Rings, because you are a piece of shit. Peter Jackson is the
Oh, yeah.
best. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened when he made this. It is so disgusting and so bizarre. The plot is like the international virus kind of trope. And it's just really strange because this guy gets bitten by a monkey and then spreads this weird disease and everybody turns into zombies. But there's a particular scene at the end, the big battle scene, that is one of the most disgusting things you will ever watch in your entire life.
Yeah.
but it's
Yep.
not. It's not like. But at the same time, it's funny. So it's these insane scenes, stuff people don't make now. Nobody can remake this movie ever.
It's like a gory cartoon.
Yeah,
That's a
It-
good
that
comparison.
is the best way to describe it, honestly, because you're somehow like, ha, 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 this is cool, but oh my god, I'm kind of sick to my stomach. Like, but it kind of like they weigh each other out.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen it, but I've been wanting to
Oh
see it.
man,
One of my coworkers who loves it, his brother saw it and literally gagged.
it's
So now, like,
really,
I
it's
wanna see
really
it.
rough. It is really, really rough, and you don't even but watching it, they call it the goriest film of all time.
It is just like over the top. It's just
And
out
it's
of control.
and it's
yeah.
got a cult following. So it's I just really want to know what happened and why he wanted to make this, because he made it in 1992. And then he didn't make Lord of the Rings until 2001. So it's really weird to have these movies that are so well known and some of the greatest movies of all time. You go back and watch this movie and you're like, who is he?
What the hell?
What didn't I know about you?
Right.
He's
It's-
an
Well,
enigma.
I will say this. He was originally in talks to direct Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Oh man.
Wow.
And they did they went with Rennie Harlan instead, which was good. It turned out good. But his first one was Bad Taste. Did any of y'all see that?
I didn't
No.
know.
Okay. If you Googled it and saw the cover, you would probably recognize the cover. I knew the cover more than I knew the movie, but it's kind of that same. They call it a splatter comedy. It's
Yeah.
kinda not as good as Dead Alive, but it's it's in that vein.
Yeah, no, I've never seen that one.
And then he did a puppet movie called Meet the Feebles, and it has a cult classic following too. It's like a dirty.
That's
like a
so
grown-up-
interesting.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
it's dirty Muppets. It's like really
Weird.
yeah.
That is weird.
And then after Dead Alive, he did The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox, which I love. Very underrated movie. And then I think that might have been it until he did Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he did Frighteners in '96, and then '97 he started working on Lord of the Rings. So.
I did not, to this day, know that he did The Frighteners.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am, he did.
I had no idea. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. You
I
learn
love
something
that
new
movie.
every day, friends.
My dad took me and my brother to see that at the theaters when we were younger.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
Very good.
Flip.
Flip mode.
Who was that? Was KB's. Okay, so Lena, I guess it's yours.
Yes. So I'm looking through my list. Y'all, I have a long list.
I mean, if
So,
you've got a few, you can throw in like.
Yeah, just
I
rattle
love
them
these
off.
4 or 5, but this
here
is
we
my second.
go. Let's see.
I hear the paper unwrapping.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
My list.
I've mentioned this on a past episode. Well, actually, the last episode, because I talked about Felissa Rose on the last one. But Sleepaway Camp, awesome movie.
Yes.
Kind of like Friday the 13th. There's a killer at a camp, but the end is worth the whole movie, guys. And listeners, if y'all haven't seen that, please watch it. It's fun. I've got several things I watch on holidays. So, the next holiday coming up being St. Patty's Day, Leprechaun.
Oh my god, that was on my list too.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
y'all.
I hadn't thought about
Those
that in
movies are
years.
Yeah.
fucking hysterical.
really any of them I'll just turn on and have on the background. It's hilarious. The OG is my favorite, but Leprechaun in the Hood also wonderful.
Oh my god.
And I'll
On a
let y'all
side note,
follow.
I just want to interject. It's kind of weird how a lot of those franchises, they started like legit. Like if you go back and watch the first Child's Play, like it's like you don't see much of Chucky in the movie. They kind of do kind of like what Jaws did. Like they kind of did different angles, so you don't really see him. And I mean, it's like really supposed to be like scary. Same thing with Leprechaun. Same thing with Freddy. And then like each sequel, it started getting like funnier and funnier and funnier.
Yeah.
Like they started watering it down. And I was thinking about that, like the only one that really didn't, well, not that one, but like Jason didn't do that. They kept that as like a serious thing. But some of those, genre hits from the 80s and 90s, they kind of, I don't know why they did it that way. Because like, wasn't 4 like Leprechaun in the Hood or something, or like, wasn't that?
I can't remember which one it was.
It was just it was a departure from the original. So.
Yeah, I do want to say that tomorrow, if y'all follow Cavity Colors on Instagram,
yes,
they're releasing a t-shirt, Leprechaun t-shirt. So I'm definitely grabbing one of those for St. Patty's Day this year. So excited!
One of them's doing Silver Shamrock, so of course.
Yes, I want that too. Yes.
Since I'm the only human that likes Halloween 3 because I'm a monster.
You monster!
It's hilarious.
So another holiday-ish film, Ginger Dead Man.
Oh my God.
Absolutely ridiculous, you guys. And I don't even know. I blame this on my mom, Lisa, if you're listening. She bought like the 3-pack DVD of these movies, and they're actually fun. I mean, Gary Busey is in it, but he voices the haunted biscuit.
Oh my God. That sounds magical.
And it's hilarious. I mean, the first one is just called Ginger Dead Man, but the sequel's called Passion of the Crust.
Oh my God.
I need that on my shirt for when I'm baking.
Yes.
That's
the crust.
So,
I need it.
That's incredible.
You know it's gold. And then Thanksgiving, I watch every Thanksgiving, which is about a homicidal turkey, and it's wonderful. It's so bad, but it's so good. I love it. We showed it to some of my friends this year, and they were just very confused and bothered.
You are like the queen of trash horror.
Yes,
I am so impressed right now.
It's crazy, y'all. Let's see. Other highlights, and I'm gonna tell y'all 2 from my past that I've seen a long time ago, and I need to revisit. But The Tingler with Vincent Price is so much fun. Black and white, 1959. And then Dr. Giggles from the early 90s about a madman that acts as a doctor.
Oh my God.
And he giggles a lot, obviously.
And he loves to giggle.
Yes, he loves to giggle.
Dr. Giggles was in Darkman, which was Sam Raimi. He was the villain in Darkman.
I love you guys.
Sorry.
It's amazing.
I'm so
impressed.
I think I'm done for now.
He played, he was on LA Law too. He played the mentally challenged guy. So
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Dr. Giggles, that's a good one.
Thank you. Eli?
Oh, it's me now? Okay. I was thinking like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That one's...
I just got that Blu-ray.
Nice. Ooh, I have that Blu-ray too, actually, now that you mentioned that. And it's... I don't know, like, it's an interesting idea, and, like, some of the costumes and stuff are pretty well done, I guess, but it's very much like a B, it's definitely a B movie, but, I mean, some of it's gross, like, that one little clown knocks that dude's head off, just, like, freaking punches his head off, so, a little gory. I think the remake of The Blob which I've mentioned before, I absolutely love. I don't think that intended to be, because it was like a big studio remake, and they had like the whatever you want to call it, the hot lead actor at the time, Kevin Dillon, was like big in the 80s, and so I don't think it really meant to be that, but I mean, like the special effects and stuff, like, it's super gory, like it's really awesome. So that's also celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. So I was just thinking, I think I would probably, I'd go the Blob on that one. I think that one's, I don't know if that one's quite to the level of Halloween 3, but that one's one of those that, like, I think people are quick to, like, which I guess I should finish my sentence before I'm jumping to one thing or another. They go to bat for it because it's like, well, they remade The Blob from like 1955. I was like, yeah, but have you seen that movie from 1955? It's garbage. Like, it is
garbage.
And that's how it is with The Thing. The Thing, Thing from Space from the 50s is like, he's got like leaves on his hand, like
yeah, that movie's so lame.
It's super lame.
The Thing.
And so
it's
like
it's the Thing from outer space around the corner, and it's like, that's not scary. Please stop.
Oh my god.
Even the Body Snatchers, the original from the 50s wasn't that great, and the one in 78 is like so good. So like I think some remakes, The Fly,
Oh
no,
no.
That's like The Fly.
I love them.
Nope.
I love both of them.
I can't watch it.
Oh, it's so gross.
I
love
get
it.
so sick.
It's disgusting.
That's like that when I was talking about my fear, like the things that make me squirm. That is that movie.
Yeah,
it makes me so nauseous, and I've only seen it like maybe 2 times.
I just got the Blu-ray in my horror pack for February, so that's fresh. Yeah,
Never.
They I don't remember which company it was. It might have been Boom Comics, or it was an Image. Anyways, they did a sequel to The Fly like 2 years ago, and it picked up after The Fly 2, and they had Eric Stoltz as character in it, who was Jeff Goldblum's son, the second one, and it's awesome. It's like I wish they would have done a Fly 3 and done that story, because it's just freaking awesome. So, anyways,
No, thank you.
no, thank you, huh?
I will pass.
Well, I think that was a good chat. Does anybody else? I know, Lena, you had a bunch. Does anybody have any parting words? Or?
No, there's so many more out there, but we'd be here all night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those, like, I think we got to trim the fat, because, I mean, if we went through the full, like, if we pulled out Lena's, like, sandwich over there, I mean, we could be here all night. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But, well, cool. So I think Kayla's going to do our socials.
Yes. So we're on Indie Popcorn. You can find us there. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Music City Horror. We also have a website with a blog that we write on sometimes. So also read those things if you want to read longer form sort of writing or some updates that Eli posts. Also go there and look too, because we put some stuff up on there as well.
Yep.
Hey.
Well,
Oh my god.
We're so silly.
Sorry.
Like,
This time of night brings it out of me.
We are all up very late.
Yeah.
So, readers,
It's bedtimes.
readers, listeners, I apologize. I can't even form words, so I am that tired.
Past bedtime.
well,
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop then. So I don't know if we'll have an interview the next show. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we hear something in the next, like next week, of our big interview we're doing, which we're all excited about.
Yay.
And if not, the next one will just be a regular show, and then we'll do the interview. And yeah, so I guess until then, I guess we'll see everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.